up, everybody? My name is Glitchtrick, and today I'm taking a look into every hiker's dream game, Firewatch. This was originally developed by Campo Santo and has a very positive review on Steam. Before I get into the meat of this game, I just want to say a big thank you to Random Guy who actually gifted me this game for Christmas. We had talked about this game for a while because he was convinced I would fall in love with the graphics, and I absolutely did. This makes my top 5 game list for 2022 as far as the beauty of the game. Not to mention the storyline was fun. We had great laughs about it on stream, and it was just a wonderful game to experience. Thank you so much for this gift. I truly appreciate it, and I can't wait to see what games you recommend in the future. This game covers the day-to-day life of a fire lookout. Everything from going around and scouting the local areas, gathering supplies that have been airdropped to you, dealing with rambunctious horny teenagers, making sure your drunk best friend gets home, finding incriminating stalkers, and of course, belaying, hiking, and more belaying. Wait. Did I read all that right? What was that bit about the stalkers? What kind of fire lookout station is this? From the very beginning of this game, we are dropped into the gorgeous Wyoming wilderness. Clearly designed by somebody who is a fan of the area and truly wanted to capture the full essence of this forest. From the fog to the lighting, you can tell what time of day it is just because when you walk outside of the fire lookout tower, it is such a transformation of the land at any given point of the day. The colors are immaculate, and all of the spaces that you go through feel very connected. Even though there are very unique instances to each that identify that this is a pine grove, this is a more arid rocky canyon bit, but it all made sense in the area that we were exploring. My 2 favorite scenes actually were the part in which we were interrogating the teens at the lake because the lake just looks so phenomenal. Look at it. And also when our so-named Flapjack fire is roaring because the night sky was so well done. The story behind this game goes from 0 to 180 real fast. At first, the worst thing that we think we're gonna end up dealing with are some rambunctious, disrespectful teenagers just trying to make our job difficult. And we're just trying to connect the dots between a bunch of the little notes we're collecting from our supply boxes from other fire lookouts. Next thing you know, the teenagers' camp is absolutely destroyed, and we're thinking bear, but maybe not. And suddenly there's transcripts of whatever we've been talking about with our lady friend over at the other fire lookout tower. Like, things started to get really creepy because you knew somebody was following you throughout this whole game and you didn't expect it. All of your worst fears are confirmed when you get taken out by a world champion boxer from behind. I mean, confirmed not a pro champion boxer, but that was a dirty trick. I wasn't even looking. I couldn't defend myself for nothing. Overall, the game gave you a good sense of feeling crazy because as you're experiencing things like a new fence that's been put up in the park overnight, what seems like a science camp that's also just appeared out of nowhere, you're not getting any affirmation that what you're seeing is real from either the other lookout or anybody else because there's nobody else to confirm what you're seeing. So you're constantly taking pictures trying to say, I'm not crazy, you have to believe me. And I liked that sense of anxiety and impending doom. Considering all of the really adorable banter that we were experiencing with the other lookout that was helping us to get acclimated to this job, I also wasn't expecting such a remorseful end to the game. To basically learn that there was an older fire lookout that hadn't gone back after the summer because his son had passed away in the cave was unexpected, even though we had a lot of hints about it through the different letters that we collected, and even our fire lookout partner across the way had said that she assumed they went home. She hadn't heard from them in a while. But everything was said so nonchalantly or mentioned or written nonchalantly that when you actually come across proof that his child had passed away and that he, Henry, the father, had been staying behind to hide him essentially so that way nobody would have to dig him up or deal with that and he wouldn't have to be separated from him. That was just really sad concept. And It made it even sadder when we do find Henry's hideout, where we find out that he's been living for who knows how many months at this point. In a sense, Henry was kind of torturing himself by staying there as well. So that was really sad because he felt he couldn't leave his son there alone. But I do feel like he was definitely out of line attacking people's camps. He could have found a much more peaceful way to resolve that. What made me feel even more for the character that we were playing was that at the very end of Firewatch, we have to be vacated from the site. Obviously, now there's a police investigation that has to occur and the area is deemed unsafe for us. Plus there's a fire that's literally barreling down towards our Firewatch tower. As they're coming to rescue us, we have one last conversation with the other fire lookout that we have known throughout this entire game, that we've bared our soul to, that was helping us figure out the ins and outs of this whole investigation as we discovered information. And admittedly, our character had begun to have feelings for her, and they had begun almost like a pseudo relationship over the phone or over the walkie-talkie. And at the very end of the game, we kind of reach out to her. We say, hey, you know, this could be something. What do you think? And she basically turns us down and says this was a very fun summer and she's got to go figure out her life and we need to go figure out ours. So, yeah. I was turned down in game, and that did not help the experience. But you know who was there for me? Forrest Burns. The very best part of this game, hands down, it just puts the cherry on top, was when we found the wooden side of Mr. Burns, our forever friend. Forrest Burns became our inseparable duo. Not to brag or anything, but we were basically the best tag team out there aside from Batman and Robin. I mean, Mr. Burns even helped me fix the hole in my window after some creep decided to break into my house. Look at that. Serving our forest and our fire lookouts daily. I was actually very surprised that I could stick him into the hole of our broken window and that he actually stayed there for several days, even past loading screens in the game. For a while, I thought that he had been severely stuck there. Forrest Burns really just served as a nice comedic relief throughout this game and as a funny character to represent us on our journey. We took him everywhere. We hiked with him, making sure that he tested the fall damage aspect first, of course, because he's a great cardboard cutout like that. But I was really sad because at one point I actually did lose Forrest Burns. Note to self for anyone playing this game, if you choose to take Forrest Burns into the cave with you, best not to chuck him down the long steep drop. Apparently, there's no way for you to get him if he's not at the top of it or at the very bottom of it. We tried belaying past him, we tried jumping on him, we tried reaching from the bottom step, we tried reaching from the top step. We're not even that far away from him, but he did sacrifice himself to judge the different distance of the long steep drop and inevitably got stuck there forever, which was sad because he didn't get to escape with us, but R.I.P. Forrest Burns. May you guard this tunnel forever.